I guess in my self-reflection of the preconditionings and limiting beliefs and where they came from, and looking at my childhood, I clearly decided to be a follower in my life and preset that follower character in myself.
And that's really a fascinating thing, because then we can start to gather all the things that you gained from that path, all the skill sets that were gained from that restricted way. We actually get to look at what were all the things that grew from that. One that stands out to me is patience.
Patience, yes.
Yeah, patience, hard work, observational skills.
Yes.
Would you say like you're a big observer?
Yes, that also came from my childhood, and me being shy back then. I was observing.
Okay. So we develop all these traits. Usually our strong qualities, typically the top three are like developed from your biggest wounds or limiting beliefs from our early development. And so observation for you became one of your strong suits. We have to look at one of your greatest traits and strengths and where that may or may not be creating resistance for you. Okay, so it's opening up all the awareness of what's possible, right? Can be like an entrepreneur. I can see this path. I can see what could happen on all those steps. I can see that there's a way to get there, and in great detail, right?
Yes.
Where does that become my ally, and where does that get in my way? Independence and or observation is where I feel like it's very important that we identify the order. And so this is my intuition for you, and you are the one that gets to determine, you're the one that knows whether or not it's accurate. But my sense is the order is that it isn't the independence first, it's the observation first, which then developed your independence.
Yeah, if we're talking about what came, the chicken or the egg first.
Yeah. So why that's valuable is that if you try to wean off your independence without recognizing how active your observer is and what it sorts for, then you're really working up here, but you've got another layer under here. Okay. So your observer has been wired to really look out for anything that could create instability.
Yes.
And so what it does is it fights you on anything that's going to take you down that road. Rightfully so, from the mind's perspective, because its job is to keep you safe, stable, and alive. And your observation of instability risk is very high. So even when it's not in your forefront, it's running all the time of managing that for you. And what it can do is it can also take the steering wheel and start forcing you to operate in certain ways, because what it is it's a fear that came in from a place that there was an experience that things were limited, not whole. So anytime we operate from a pattern, we're coming from the mind. So it's a limited place. And we had an experience that didn't see the whole big picture. Wow. We only saw what was happening right then. And so it only allows us to operate from right then. And our development and our skill sets and even our psyche, from wherever our stage of mental, emotional development, that's where it comes from that place, the little scope. Yes. So really, we want to honor before we ask for a change. This is the room, like imagine your own little conference room with all the people that are there to give you all the information about why we do things the way we do and why it makes sense. That's your little mediator table of people, right? And you really get to listen to each part of you and understand how important it was for you to develop this observation of preventing instability and therefore creating safety. And this is really important, and it's precious because it's where you get to really give back to yourself the love, the credit, the compassion. Like, good job for doing everything you knew how to do at the time, to do it the way you did it, to make sure that we weren't going to get into a really unsafe, uncertain place. And this is why this is so valuable, Irene, because if you're coming from the pattern to correct the pattern, it will still drive the pattern. So you're doing new thing, but from the old fear. This is really important that lands. You're doing new things, but you're doing them from the old fear.
Yes, fear of uncertainty.
Yes. What I want you to do is just take a minute, So you can recognize the energy. I want you to recognize this pattern so clearly that you can know and sense when you're in it. So you can recognize when it's trying to take the wheel. If we get really clear on that identity of that pattern, we recognize right away when it comes in and tries to shift us. Because you can do the same thing in the pattern and get that old outcome. You can do the same exact thing out of the pattern and get a different outcome. Old pattern, same outcome, maybe just a different way getting there, but old pattern will take you to the same place. When we shift that, now we get different outcomes. Is that making a lot of sense?
Yes.
And what's really good is I can see you feeling it. I know what you're here for. I know why you try to meet the needs this way. And I honor you. I want you to practice this Ho'oponopono prayer. It's a Hawaiian minimized version of process to get into Pono and to be in right relationship. So we need to be in Pono with the earth. We need to be in Pono with our loved ones. And we certainly need to be in Pono with ourselves. And so what this process is doing is it's getting yourself into right relationship with yourself, to come into a place of compassion, of honoring, of realizing, of recognizing, and loving. And the Ho'oponopono is a prayer process that boils down to, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and thank you. It's so precious. I've used this in my life and created miracles for others, doing the Ho'oponopono for other people in proxy of them with themselves. And I just have some really beautiful stories that I've witnessed. And what it is on a really simple scale is it's coming into right relationship. And when the energy gets clear, it's like that exhale in the room that I spoke about in mediation, where everything goes, ah, yeah, thank you. Okay. And the energy gets back into alignment. And now the resistance, all that we pushed into the way in front of us because of all those reasons, like that interference between us and others, or us and our way that we want to experience, or us and money, has been in the way. And so when we get really into that re-understanding, landing in that understanding place, connecting with the part of us, well, of course we would do it that way. Why wouldn't we? Of course we wanted to have certainty and safety and stability. That's a beautiful thing to want for yourself. And this is how you knew, and the best way you knew at the time to acquire it and build it and operate. And so there's a presupposition in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, that all behaviors are driven by a positive intention. And if you unwire it back far enough, you'll find what it is. And it's linked to our basic core needs: safety, belonging, acceptance, love. We're so alike in all those core needs. There's nothing that is really that unique, as unique as we all are. We uniquely meet all those needs, or try to figure out, or go into our crazy way of doing it. But at the end of the day, that's what we want. And that's what we strive for. Whether it's through prestige or through being a Mother Teresa, we're looking for similar things.